to ArchRivals Football, sponsored by Raz Energy and Steiner Sports. Here is your starting lineup. Number 20, Darnell the Playmaker Salins. Number 94, Alex the Bearman Alcazaz. Number 69, Ricky the Prez Litwinkowicz. And in tribute to our fallen colleague, ArchRivals Football, Ring of Honor member, Alex Fleming. This show is a Pain Train Pipe Bomb production.
Good evening. How y'all doing? Day before the Super Bowl, February 12th, 2022. I am your host for today's show, Darnell the Playmaker Silence, filling in, doing my job. Ricky's in the background. He's producing. You can hear him whenever he speaks. Won't be doing much of it because he's in producing mode today. Bearman is with me. Alex, what's going on?
Nothing much, just being what I am, the most fearless journalist in the history of the state of Texas.
Why I gotta be fearless, man?
Because I am fearless, especially when it comes to...
We know this. We know this. Why you gotta be fearless, though?
Well, some people think different.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right, I got a good show for you guys. We got a lot of people coming on today. And since I am hosting and I'm not going to really talk that much, I brought in somebody to take my part in out in LA as of right now. My man, my fellow Ram member, Jonathan Mathis. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How's everyone doing?
Jonathan Mathis, one of the greatest journalists in the history of the City of Angels.
How kind. Thank you so much.
Well, it's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
All right. See, we got that going on. And as y'all can see, we have some logos for you. We have some pictures for you guys. And I got a couple of guys I want to get in here real quick. Both representing Sideline Sports and the Gauntlet. First up, my brother, my Packers fan, Chicago Bulls fan, Tyler Ingram. What's going on?
What's up? Pleasure to be here. What's up, guys?
How you doing, Tyler? Good to have you on.
And his partner who getting ready to do a show with for the Gauntlet will be at 7 o'clock, so a little less than an hour from now. From Detroit, Don, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me. What's up, guys?
I got a good list for you guys. I got a good show for you guys. But for right now, we're going to get into our first topic. We'll go ahead and get into it because this is an interesting thing that we have going on right here. As you can see, you see on the top part, you see Matthew Stafford, but the bottom part, you see something that says Detroit Rams. So, Dom, you live up in Detroit. What is going on with the support for Matthew Stafford as he get ready to play in the Super Bowl tomorrow?
Can I tell you, you may or may not have heard this, there was talks of having a parade in Detroit for Matt Stafford if they win tomorrow. No word of a lie. Like I read it on either like the news or the Free Press. They said talks of a parade, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" My thing is this: for my own team's sake, I should have been rooting against the Rams all year for the sake of that draft pick that we got with Goff from them. But how are you not going to root for Matt Stafford? And every week, all the doubters just one more week. Talking to you, JB Ellis, he still won't give this man his flowers. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Clearly, I'm rooting for Stafford and the Rams, but something about this Bengals team, it seems like destiny.
It really does, yeah.
All right.
Tyler, the Macho Man shirt.
Tyler, what you think of the support of the city of Detroit giving Stafford as he plays in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, for one, I think it's hilarious, to be honest. I mean, even look at the logo. You got the Ram on the lion logo. It's funny to me. I totally get it. I definitely get it, though. he was such a great quarterback with Detroit. He was on the wrong football team for so long. I always knew he was talented, even when we played him. Like Matt Stafford's a gamer. He's going to be in that game for 4 quarters. He's not going to sit there and he's not going to get blown out. Like, he's going to fight. And I mean, Detroit didn't give him any help. He literally had like 2 seconds to throw the football in Detroit. He got sacked so many times in Detroit. So it's cool to see him coming full circle and being on a legitimate team that could contend for the Lombardi Trophy.
Big time.
Look at him now. Anyone that doubted Matt Stafford, please stop. I'd said this before. I don't know if you guys had heard it. Playmaker, you might have. Are we made to believe that it's some sort of coincidence that the 2 best receiving seasons in NFL history are both quarterbacked by one John Matthew Stafford?
Jonathan, what you the Rams fan for the show for me? What do you think of what's going on in Detroit right now?
It's depressing times, so they need a feeling of joy, and if there's one way to take their minds off of the bad that's happening in Detroit, it's doing this. What we see here, it's interesting though. But hey, they love Matthew Stafford. They miss him, and they're showing their love and support for a guy that has, turned things around since he's joined the Rams and has really been able to maximize his talent in a new city now with a team that's able to contend, because now he had the weapons around him to make it happen. So it's interesting what they're doing down in Detroit.
All right. I'm not going to take too much of my 2 guys' time because they got a show to prepare for. But let me do this, though. Detroit, Dan, your thoughts on the game coming up and who you going with?
I'm picking the Rams by 4. Close game, obviously. Shootout. I don't think. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I just, me, I want to see all the Stafford haters choke on words we won't say. But I mean, almost every year, unless the Patriots are involved, I just want to see a good competitive game. I don't care who wins.
All right.
Well said.
Detroit's going with the Rams. Tyler.
Yeah, so let me break it down a little bit. I definitely want a good game. I don't want to blow out, either way in this game, especially last year, that horrible game we saw in Tampa between Tampa and Kansas City. So I definitely want a good football game. I think we're going to get one. I think Joe Burrow's going to fight in this game. I do like, the wide receivers that the Bengals receiver room. I think they're going to have numbers in this game. I'm picking the Rams to win this game, though. I think it's 33-31. I think Matt Gay hits the game-winning field goal at the end of regulation. The Rams win the Super Bowl.
Oh, your buddy Matt Gay now. You guys are cool, right?
I got a question in this week with Matt Gay, the kicker of the Rams. So yeah, he's my buddy now. Since Mason Crosby has had such a rough year, I've appointed Matt Gay as my second favorite kicker in the NFL now. So I'm gonna go with Matt Gay wins the game.
I like what I hear. I like what I hear. But all right, thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Don. Y'all go ahead and do what y'all got to do. Get ready.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Appreciate you, Playmaker.
Thank
you for having us on.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, that's Don and Tyler. They are getting ready for the gauntlet that is coming up at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. All right, fellas, we got that going out the way. So now, let's turn our attention to the road that was paved to get here, starting with the LA Rams. And Jonathan, how did the Rams get to Super Bowl 56?
It was an incredible journey to get to the Super Bowl. What an amazing run for a team that was expected to be here. With all the moves that they made these moves to simply win now. And, anything less than Super Bowl championship would be considered a colossal failure. And the Rams put it together. It started with the front office. The coaching has done a tremendous job. And the players themselves have, been remarkable. They have played exceptionally well the Rams clicked at the right time. Picked up some quality wins down the stretch. Went 5-2 to end the season. Clinched the division title. Managed to win their playoff games. They sent Tom Brady into retirement, and then they beat the 49ers. Third time was a charm. They finally ended their losing streak against a team that had owned them throughout the years. And look where they're at now. They're in the Super Bowl with a chance to win. The Super Bowl is right there for them to win it. All they got to do is prevail and beat the Cincinnati Bengals in tomorrow's contest. It's going to be a good game.
All right. Little technical difficulties here, but that's all right. Yep, they went all in. They are here. They are at home, by the way, so that should be something to look forward to. And they ain't the only team that said to have a Super Bowl, you got to have another team, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, Bearman, how did the Cincinnati Bengals get here?
Well, first of all, I should mention the fact that before the season started, was there anybody who ever anticipated the possibility of the Bengals making it to the Super Bowl?
No.
The answer is no. So for the Bengals to not only shock the world, they shocked the world by winning their division. Then they shocked the world by winning their first playoff game since 1990, and now they shocked the world by making it to the Super Bowl. I think in their mentality, they have one more shocker to go, and they want to win their title because they're in the Super Bowl for the first time since 1988. And Joe Burrow, going from his rookie year suffering a torn ACL to turning things back around and then making it this far, there's a reason why he was NFL Comeback Player of the Award winner. And the results that Burrow put on the gridiron, that's the talking right there. Action speaks louder than words. That's what Joe Burrow did. And I don't even, speaking of Joe Burrow, he's the second-year quarterback since Russell Wilson to reach the Super Bowl, and he's the first number one overall pick quarterback to do so within his first 2 seasons.
Yeah, that is true. And speaking of which, that is going to our quarterback talk right here. Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford. You spoke on Joe Burrow coming off the ACL injury, winning Comeback Player of the Year honors on Thursday. By the way, he left the trophy on the table, sending a message to the Rams like this ain't the trophy he's looking forward to. So
Burrow
what does that
is
tell
all
you?
business. He's all business.
Yes, he is.
So, Jonathan, what you think of Joe Burrow in his second year as an NFL quarterback?
I think it's simply amazing. Who would have thought that he would be in the Super Bowl? I guess this says a lot about him as a person and as a player. He definitely has the qualities of an elite quarterback. I think we've seen that throughout the course of the playoffs, and he's resilient. This is a guy that fights to the very end. He never lets up. He continues to play. He has proved all his doubters wrong. What makes this more amazing is the fact that this is a guy who came back from a severe injury. He worked his way back. He conditioned his body. He stayed in game shape. He stayed ready for the big moment, and he led his team to the Super Bowl. It's amazing. This dude got a lot of swagger on and off the field. We know what he can do. We know that he's capable of driving his team down the field. We know he can make plays at the right time. He's an opportunistic quarterback. He can make those big plays when needed. And, the bright lights don't seem to affect him very much. He's not bothered by the pressure. He's an amazing quarterback. He can extend plays. He can extend, drives, and he's a very mobile quarterback. And when the pressure is on him, he finds a way, to deliver. And he's been very productive. He's gonna throw his haymakers just as much as Stafford will throw his. And I think these guys are gonna be sensational tomorrow. I think it's gonna be a quarterback duel. between these two guys. But Joe Burrow, man, he really brings it. He brings that electricity. He brings, the swagger and the brilliance to a football game, and that's just been incredible to watch.
Okay, very nice words, good words, true words at that. And Joe Burrow has shown a lot this year. But Bearman, that guy on the other side, been in the league 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's finally got to this moment. So, what's your thoughts on Matthew Stafford through his first season with the Los Angeles Rams?
You know what? The fact that he's finally made it to this moment, I'm like, oh, and about time too. And this season, we finally saw the true Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was at a position where he has the blessings to be himself, because Detroit, it's not that they couldn't do it, they refused to do it. I mean, they were just not making the effort to giving up that franchise quarterback, Matthew Stafford. They obviously don't care. People might disagree, but it's clearly obvious. The Detroit Lions could have, surrounded him with talent. They just didn't do it. Why? There's a lot of answers. They don't care. They're cheap. I mean, it doesn't matter the reason. The bottom line is they didn't do it, and they're going to be remembered for this. And believe me, they're going to get shit for this for probably the rest of the history, because and the Rams take a chance on him, and then the Rams do what Detroit didn't do, and then we see Matthew Stafford be himself. It's all the results are right there. They're all on YouTube. You can't argue it. I mean, he wasn't perfect every moment, because there's no such thing as a perfect quarterback. There's no such thing as a perfect athlete. Even Michael Jordan, had some moments, of struggles, had bad games. But the bottom line is we finally saw Matthew Stafford in an environment that's truly fitting to his talents.
Yeah, so our good buddy, the critical Bronco fan, Alex know who that is, saying the most sacked quarterback versus the quarterback who leads in interceptions. That's a nice way to look at it, John.
Well, the way Mr. Mathis described Mr. Burrow about not being afraid of pressure, I would ask you, John, would you say that Mr. Burrow's the kind of guy that when there's under pressure, he just says, bring it on?
Yeah, I think he's up for the challenge. I think he realizes the task at hand in tomorrow's Super Bowl, because when you look at that Rams defensive front, they don't mess around. They come at the quarterback. They put a lot of pressure on you. But I think he welcomes that. I think he's comfortable knowing that the pressure is going to be there. And I think that, motivates him and fires him up to make those plays when he has to. So, yeah, I think he's one of those quarterbacks that just, waits for the moment and, he just plays his game. He just goes out there and give it his all and do whatever he can to put his team in the best position to win.
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm gonna throw a question to you two, and this is part of our poll question. So thank you to everybody all over on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, who all voted on 3 of our posts today. Our first poll question was, which process do you prefer? Because when you look at the Bengals, they star power. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. They were drafted by the Bengals coming out of college. And then when you look at the Ram stars, Matthew Stafford, getting Von Miller, adding Jalen Ramsey and Odell Beckham Jr. through trades and free agency. Which process do you prefer? I will start with Jonathan first.
Repeat that.
So do you want to build a team through the draft, or do you want to look at free agency and trading?
Ooh, that's tough because it could work both ways. You could build through the draft, as the Bengals did, and look, they're in the Super Bowl with all that talent. Or you could do what the Rams did, and you could build that way too. And look where they are; they're in the Super Bowl as well. This is a tough question. To me, I'm more of the impatient person, so I guess you could say that I could build a team by buying talent, by trading, seeing what's out there on the market, exploring, listening to trade offers. I'm that kind of guy because I'm always looking to win now. at the moment. It's not about what I can do in the future. It's about what I can do now. And I think that's the route that the Rams took, and it has seemed to benefit it. It has seemed to benefit them. Now they got one more game left, so they gotta win tomorrow, or else this bet, is off the table if they don't win tomorrow. So, I can definitely feel a team that likes to build through trading and through free agency, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So I think if it was up to me, I would trade my pieces, my young assets, and see what I can get to win at the moment.
All right, so Jonathan's with the free agency and the trading. Bearman, where do you stand when it comes to building the team?
Depends on the situation. If we're talking about like a free agent that's 29 years old, been around for a while, that's not the process of building a team. Like, because when you're at that age, you don't know how much is left. If you want to build for the future, you got to go with the younger guys. But also, you can't just rely on the draft. You need somebody that kind of knows there. But if you bring in somebody from another team, they got to get themselves familiarized with the system. So either way, you take a chance. Either way, it's a high risk gamble. But in some situations, it's the draft. Some situations, it's free agency. But you can't just go after somebody that you want. You gotta put out all the options on the table. You gotta look through all of them. You gotta go after somebody that you need. Okay, you can't play around with these kinds of things. It's not about getting the guy, because if you just get a player just because he's popular, if you're merely using it as a publicity stunt, well, that's not the way to go. I mean, if you want to win, then you got to get what you need. You got to build a team. You got to kind of know what your players are about. You got to put a system that evolves around them. You got to basically play like you got to like understand your team, and you got to give them what they need because you're part of it. So you got to build.
Right. And
right. So
you gotta make sure those pieces that you bring in as well fit.
Exactly.
So it sounds like Bearman's more with the drafting and building to maintain even into the future. Jonathan's more I got to get it in right now. So where you think the people went? Man, we had a lot of votes. We had over 200 votes.
I'd imagine it was mixed. It had to have been.
Yeah, because it's all based on perspective.
All right, we got the results right here, and look at that.
Oh boy, not even close.
Look at that. 67.1%. They want to build through the draft. They want to go the Bearman route. I want to build through the future. I want to make sure I don't want to build for the first couple of years. I'm looking 5, 10, 15 years down the line, and most people did it.
I feel like when you go with the draft, these teams, especially when they take the draft seriously, they do they make a judgment call. Like through the free agency, when you're throwing a lot of money on a player who could be past his prime, I mean, like I said, it's for publicity stunts. It's just to sell T-shirts, sell jerseys, sell tickets. It's happened before many times through history, right?
Yep, it has. So
yeah, I mean, if you're all about the money, then I would ask, are you really in the game?
I mean, Les Need is saying that because how many first round picks did he give up, Jonathan?
He gave up more than enough. And you know what though, guys? I'll probably say that I would build through free agency, and I'm all for a team trading a player because I see it all the time with the Lakers, the Dodgers, and now the Rams. So maybe that's why I prefer to build through free agency and trades.
So that's that. I mean, that's a lot of votes. A lot of votes coming in, and we talking. I believe by the count was like 213 of the votes coming in, and wow. They was not playing.
They weren't playing.
They was not playing.
Most people said they'll build through the draft, and I mean, over the years we've seen teams build successfully through the draft, and eventually become a consistent winner. So it's not that surprising.
The Critical Bronco says he's a draft guy. I know because I'm the one who saw your vote, so I know exactly what you did. So building to the draft, I can't knock it, But yeah, sometimes you gotta make some serious hard decisions when it comes to free agency and trading. You just have to do it sometimes. And the Rams did it. They got here. The Bengals, they spent money in free agency the last 2 years. People don't realize it. They spent over $200 million in free agency. But they star players, they drafted their star players though. So they drafted their star players and they built around them.
Right. That's another reason why sometimes I lean more to the draft, because if you can save that money up to sign the players that you drafted, when they get in their prime, you can afford it. You're better off investing the money like that rather than blowing it away in free agency. In free agency, how many players sign with another team within free agency and they last a long time? I mean, do you see that often? I mean, I don't think I do.
Not in the NBA.
Maybe not in the NBA, but in the NFL, I mean, there's a lot of times where a player signs a massive deal and probably lasts a bit like 2 years, and he gets released unexpectedly. We've seen that, but
yeah, well,
like I said, it's a high-risk gamble.
It's a high-risk gamble, but it's also a business too.
It's business, yeah, and it turns out to be a bad investment.
And if a player is not producing, if it turns out to be a bad investment, then yes, you can make a move and get that player off the books.
All right. So we have that going on. Before I move on to my next topic, as y'all see at the bottom, the ticket at the bottom, those are all the social media platforms that y'all can follow us. The Playmakers Bar, ArchRivals Football. Because we bringing our content left and right. We do what we can, the best that we can. As I'm waiting on my next guest to get here, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all two get it started, because battle in the trenches. This is where most people think the game is going to be won at, in most people's eyes. It's the Bengals offensive line taking on that Rams defensive line. Bearman. Everybody's pointing the fingers at the Bengals O-line, because on the other side, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Grant Gaines, Sebastian Joseph Day is now healthy. You got Ashawn Robinson, who's now healthy. The Rams can go about 6 deep on that D-line.
They can cause chaos, more chaos than the Joker.
Yeah, I agree. They're going to cause a lot of havoc tomorrow, and Joe Burrow is going to have to run for his life out there, because I think the Rams defense is going to be a little bit too much for that offensive line. And also Aaron Donald, man, he's in a different world right now. This is a guy who is starving. I mean, when I say starving, he is absolutely hungry. He hasn't eaten. And now this is his chance, now that he's back in the Super Bowl. You saw that prep talk that he had 2 weeks ago when the Rams were down 17-7 late in the second half. And what happened after he had his impassioned prep talk with his defensive guys on the sideline? You saw a change, and suddenly momentum shifted in the game. So I think the defense is going to come out early. They're going to do everything they can to get to Burrow, to make it difficult for him to make plays. They're going to try to force turnovers. And if they can do that, this game could easily be over by the first half. Because if the Rams can force turnovers and, get their offense back on the field, and the offense is able to generate offensively, then it's gonna be most likely over for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, with that being said, Joe Burrow was sacked 9 times against the Tennessee Titans. Still was able to pull out that game.
Still able to pull it out, absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, how many sacks was it? It was 9, and Joe Burrow still won. So, but let's be honest, the Rams are not the Titans, are they?
Right. But hey, they had a pretty good pressure rate though.
Yeah,
the Titans did.
The Rams are, I believe, third in pressure win rate. They were third in sacks with 50. They had 50 sacks in the season. That's just ridiculous to have 50 sacks in the season.
Yeah.
And
they don't just give that to anybody.
No. And then you just have, probably one of the best defensive linemen to ever play the game in Aaron Donald. But the Bengals D line ain't that bad, Bear Man.
I mean, the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl for a reason. I mean, you can't say they got lucky, especially in the AFC Championship. I mean, they came down from 18 points down.
Right, and one of the things that's key for them is getting stops in the red zone. Something they've done so well that they find a way to come up with big stops in the red zone, and they find a way to keep offenses at bay when they're in the red zone. So that'll be interesting to watch tomorrow as well.
Absolutely.
So, do you see Sam Herbert causing havoc? That's like we talk about Aaron Donald, Von Miller causing havoc. Sam Herbert, Trey Henderson. Can they cause havoc on the Rams O-line?
I think they both can. Remember, the pressure is not on them to perform at such a high level. The pressure is more on Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd and Von Miller because of who they are. And because of the helmet that they put on. But when you look at the other side, what Cincinnati has, it's not bad either, and a lot of people are not paying close attention to their defense. So I wouldn't count them out so fast. And they know how big this moment is for them too. And they know people are back in Cincinnati watching, hoping that they pull out this win, because this will be huge for the state of Ohio and for those fans that waited a long time for this moment. So I'm sure they're going to play like as if this is their last game. And they're going to bring their all in a game of this magnitude, because this is the biggest game of everyone's life.
Especially for Cincinnati, because like I said at the beginning, did anybody expect Cincinnati to go to the Super Bowl? I mean, absolutely not. I certainly didn't. I mean, nobody thought they would even win their own division, and they did. But, you mentioned, when it comes to having a team that's heavily favored, in my experience, more often than not, the team that's heavily favored is usually under more pressure, because how many times have we seen a team that's overwhelmingly the favorite and then they fall? I'm not saying that's going to happen. I mean, my particular mentality is the way I see this game is the Rams can definitely win it, but I am just going to sit there and wait and see, because I know that in a Super Bowl, anything can happen. But, in Cincinnati, they've made it this far for a reason. So there's no reason to count them out whatsoever. I mean, they got rid of the Chiefs, along the way, and got rid of the Titans. So, they have some weaknesses, but every team has a weakness, even the Rams. But, I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to examine what goes wrong and goes right in the game. And I would have my answer right there. It's what I do as a journalist. It's why I call it, I watch the game in examination mode, because I kind of spot what went wrong, what could have been, why they did this. It's basically doing my job.
So here's my thing when it comes to the flip side, when it comes to the defensive line of the Bengals and their defense, period. To me, from what I've seen in these playoffs, they have an optimistic defense. You can move the ball on the field, you can move the ball on them, you can score on them.
Right.
But when that time comes, when that moment rises, they make the play. They make the play. Look at it in the second half. D-line gets an interception on Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm. That was beautiful. I mean, one of my best friends and my high school wrestling coach is the Chiefs fan, and they're probably not happy that I just said that. But, guys, you got to admit, that was a beautiful play.
So, Bearman, how confident are you on the Cincinnati defense to keep it close?
Well, considering that I was not too confident in them against Tennessee and Kansas City, that's twice now that I've underestimated them and they've delivered. So we're gonna have to wait. But at the same time, I'm just gonna say, we have to wait and see. But I know that the Bengals, they're gonna be dealing with a very tough wide receiver core. They got to deal with Matthew Stafford. But I know that the Bengals defense is going to be ready for anything. I mean, they're going to have their moments, whether it's good or bad. I mean, like I said, expect the unexpected. Anything can happen.
All right, our next guest is in the building. My man, Phil Jones. How you doing?
Phil Jones, baby.
How y'all doing?
Hey, Phil. How you doing, brother?
Not bad. I'm on the grind. You know how it is.
All right, Phil. We talking better in the trenches. We know the obvious with the Bengals O-line versus the Rams D-line. But before we get you to talk about that, let's talk to the other side. Let's talk about the Bengals D-line against the Rams O-line.
You said the Bengals D-line, or you talking about O-line?
We're gonna go D-line first with the Bengals.
I mean, right off the bat, you just think of Sam Hubbard and then you think of Hendrickson. Right there, that's already a major plus. With them coming off the outside, to be honest with me, Andrew Whitworth is getting old. And he's going to have his hands full. You can mix it up. I'd say, look, switch it up one time, have Trey Hendrickson right there come on the outside, push it back up with Sam Hubbard. They're going to have problems. And just looking at how this game is shaping up, they're going to have problems against that Bengals D-line.
All right. Now let's get to the obvious matchup: the Cincinnati O-line versus that Rams D-line. And everybody's looking at Aaron Donald to eat, Von Miller to eat, Leonard Floyd to eat. Can the Bengals O-line hold their own? Because they did give up 9 sacks to Joe Burrow and the Tennessee Titans.
But that's what it's going to come down to. They're going to need a win prayer. Sack 9 times during this entire playoff. You going up against who? Aaron Donald?
Yeah.
You know what he's going to expect? That's going to be straight madness. Come to think about it, and you said Leonard. That's going to be problems. So, again, this is one of the reasons why I've said that this game is going to be close. It's going to come down to your field goal figures. Because it's going to be like, oh, you think you're going to move the ball, get in red zone range? No. You're going to have some drives that are going to get installed left and right.
Yeah.
So, looking at that O-line against the Rams D-line, I'm just going to be real. It's going to be a 50-50. I mean, if they decide to finally step up and protect Burrows and they can find a way to open the holes in the run game, you could have success. But, I mean, that's a big if.
How important is that run game for the Bengals when it comes to the O-line?
I'm going to be real. It's major. I mean, P. Ryan could come in, get pounded in maybe like on a 3rd and 2. But when you look at having Mixon, getting him going, I noticed the games that they haven't been able to get him going, it's either been close or they either lost. Having Mixon in that mix, that's going to be a plus for Joe Burrow, where he can just say, okay, I can just open it up, get to the passing game. And they're not going to have old boy at tight end this week, are they?
No, he's playing. He's going to play.
No, he says he's going to play.
Oh, he's going to play?
He's going to play.
Says.
That's what he said. Yep.
Now how healthy he will be, that would be the question.
Yeah.
What you say?
How healthy he'll be, that would be the question. But he's going to play.
He won't be 100%, but he's gonna give it a try.
If he does play, that can be somewhat of a little bit of help. Use him as a decoy in a way, or hey, he can say, hey, I can catch a few passes, I can make a few blocks. But if I'm Cincinnati, I'd run a little bit of 2 tight end set just to help him out a little bit.
Okay. So you heard him.
I do have a question though for Mr. Jones, if I may.
Go ahead.
What's up, man?
Phil, if Cincinnati's running game is not producing an impact and Joe Burrow's in a position where he has to throw more, does that put Cincinnati at a major disadvantage?
unless Joe can use his feet to run. But if not, they're going to struggle.
Mm.
They're
Because,
going to struggle.
with all these defensive line that LA has, if it's going to be really tough for Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow's not going to have all the time in the world to get rid of the ball.
And I'm going to just say this. If, they have their struggles early on, if I'm the Rams, you need to attack Sings. Instead of, everybody's going to be focusing on Cooper Kupp. How about you use Van Jefferson a little bit more? Get him involved. Because that's going to be the one person I'm going to be like, you know what? He's going to pop out of this and just be like the major factor in this game. Yeah, you got your running backs going. You got Henderson, you got Sonny Michel and all. You got them, but I think Van Jefferson, he's going to be a guy that's going to end up popping up in this game just like, hey, y'all thought it was OBJ, you thought it was Cooper Kupp. Jefferson's going to pop out on top in this game.
Oh man, that's something right there. All right, I ain't gonna take up too much of your time. I know you that's up there covering Team USA Women's and doing a good job over there, sir.
They won. They came. They saw. They conquered. They'll be heading to Australia for the World Cup.
So that's good to hear. Phil, who you got? Who's winning tomorrow?
I got Rams winning 24-14.
Ooh, 10-point win. 10-point win for the home team. Even though Cincinnati's technically the home team, but we all know who it is. All right, that's my man, Phil Jones, Unfiltered. Check him out. That man is a busy man. He knows his football. And
Yes, he does.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, have a good one, Phil.
All right, man.
Later, Phil.
Later.
Where is he?
He was covering the Team USA soccer game.
Really? Wait, they had a game today? I was not aware of that. The women's national team had a game?
I believe so.
Because I know the Sheba Leafs Cup starts in a few days, and the World Cup, I believe,
it could have been basketball, but
okay, yeah, it must have been basketball. Because
could have been basketball too, but
I was not. Yeah, because if the U.S. women's national team soccer team had a match today, I was not aware of it. Even if it was an exhibition, I was not aware of it.
They always have exhibitions though.
Well, he knows it's football.
Yes, he does.
He brought up a good point.
Yeah,
the running game for Cincinnati. How important is it?
I agree.
It is. Yeah. Because I kind of justified that when I said if Cincinnati's running game is dead and Joe Burrow is relegated to relying on heavy passing with all the players on the Rams defense coming at him, oh boy,
yeah,
it's gonna be something.
They can't just rely on heavy passing. Yeah. They're gonna have to open up the lanes for Joe Mixon to run, and it's gonna start with the protection up front.
Absolutely,
they have to be able to protect Joe Burrow, and that would also allow Joe Mixon to break out and gain a chunk of yards, maybe.
And here's the thing I want to get into real quick, so because he did bring up the running game, Jonathan.
Yeah.
If the running game is important for the Bengals, correct?
Yes.
How important is linebacker play for the Rams?
Very important. Very important. And you got the linebacker to make it happen. You got Von Miller. You got Leonard Floyd. They're going to have to be big. They're going to have to come up big and make some plays. And I think they can because they're both capable of doing that. So, yes, the linebacking is going to be very critical in this game, and it's going to be huge. And, I mean, the defense, to me, early, with all the pieces that the Rams have, that could set the tone in this game.
Okay. Where does Troy Reader and Ernest Jones fit in this equation? Because they control the middle of the field.
Right. Hey, they're going to have to be huge, too. You're right. They control the middle of the field. And there's times that I feel like Reader is not on his game and that he can, be a lot stronger and much better in his production. And tomorrow is that day. He can't make any mistakes. He's going to have to be up on his game and make plays and timely plays and hopefully dictate the flow of the defense. And I think those guys can though. I have a lot of confidence in them.
Bearman, what you think about the Rams linebacker core?
Well, the entire Rams defense has to be ready for anything. You know, they're it's not just the D line that's gonna have to own the gridiron. It's gonna be the entire defense. You know, it's like the saying says, defense wins championships. So Rams, they're gonna have to own the freaking field big time.
So, Critical Bronco fan said Joe Burrow is surprisingly 6-0 when he's throwing under 30 times versus 4-6 when he's throwing more than 30 times. That's a good stat to pull up. So the key.
It's always good to have John with us. It always is.
So from what John is saying, keep him on the 30 attempts. The Bengals have a chance. Do you agree?
Well, you never say never, right?
You never say never. No,
expect the unexpected.
I do, because look, both of these teams, even though I got the Rams winning this, both of these teams, when you look at them on paper, they're kind of evenly matched, right? Both have high power.
You know what? Yeah, absolutely.
Both have opportunistic defenses. Both teams can make plays at the right time, and both of these teams have amazing kickers that's made some game deciding field goals. So, I mean, when you look at both of these teams, they match up well against each other.
All right, thank you, John, for the lovely stat. So you brought in the kickers, all right? Matt Gay, Everett McPherson. I should know about Everett McPherson because I am a Gator fan. He has kicked the Bengals. He has kicked the Bengals into the divisional round. He has kicked the Bengals to the AFC Championship game. He has kicked them into the Super Bowl.
Yes.
If it comes down to it, can he kick them to the nobody trophy?
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah. No doubt in my mind.
No about that.
I mean, we spoke about Joe Burrow not being afraid of pressure. I mean, take a look at McPherson. A perfect example. He doesn't care. He welcomes it.
He loves that moment, and he's treated with a royalty. If you guys know, his jersey sold out in Cincinnati.
He getting all the love in Gainesville.
He's getting all the love right now. Like, he's that unsung hero that went from an unsung hero to a superhero. I mean, that's how amazing he's been throughout the playoffs, you know. And I mean, this guy has ice water in his veins. It's amazing.
And he's a rookie at that.
And he's a rookie, right? And it's amazing what he's been able to do with his foot. And the kicker only has one job. That's to make the field goal. And
Matt Gay been doing his job too. So
he's been doing his thing too. Matt Gay has been remarkable too.
All right, we got our next guest on here.
It could be
my brother. I haven't seen him or talked to him in a minute. But Ken Moore, what's going on?
What's up, Jonathan? What's up,
Kenny?
What's up, Darnell? What's going on, Lone Star? Nice to be on with you guys.
All right.
The show.
Thanks so much.
So I brought Ken on because he is a coach, so you know what we're going at, right? We talking coaches. Coaches. As you can see.
The best way to do it is to bring a coach. Well done, Darnell. Well done.
We have Sean McVay in his second Super Bowl. Zach Taylor in his first Super Bowl as a head coach. Zach Taylor was on Sean McVay's staff when they went up against the Patriots and when they lost that game. So, Ken, first and foremost, how do you see this coaching matchup?
I think it's interesting because the first thing you look at is, the experience factor where Sean McVay has been on this stage before and Zach Taylor hasn't been on this stage as a head coach. There's a difference between, just coordinating one side of the ball and being responsible for all facets of the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how Zach Taylor adjusts to that stage. So I think that's the first thing you got to look at is you got those two dynamics working against each other. And the other thing is that these guys know each other and they're both offensive guys. So, you would think that they would know, each other's tendencies, the things that they like to do. So that's going to be a real chess match to to, to see who can outsmart the other in terms of how they're going to be able to execute offensively. So those are the two big things that I would look at.
All right, before we get into Sean McVay, Jonathan, Zach Taylor, first Super Bowl. How should he go about it?
It's amazing how far this man has come. I mean, if you think this guy was on the hot seat for a minute, a lot of people thought this was the end of the Zach Taylor era, and look what happened. The Bengals ended up in the Super Bowl. I'm with Kenny. I think this comes down to who can outsmart the other guy, and who calls plays that's consistent. You got to call the right plays at the right moment, and I think it's going to come down to that as well. But this is a big moment in Zach Taylor's career. He doesn't have the experience in a game like this one, like Sean McVay does, but he's here, and it shows you that he does have a knack for coaching. And I think how he approaches this game, I think you got to run the football. You definitely gotta use Joe Mixon and run the football and allow him to open up things for your offense. So I think that's the route he takes tomorrow, and it'll be interesting to see what these two coaches' game plans are in tomorrow's game.
All right, Bearman, Zach Taylor, his first Super Bowl.
Well, it's really interesting how Zach Taylor just a few years ago worked under Sean McVay. I believe he was the linebackers coach, if I'm correct.
I believe so.
Yeah, at least he was in 2018. In 2017, it was something different, but he was working with Sean McVay. And ironically, they were both, at the same time when they went to the Super Bowl in Atlanta, and didn't go so well for them. But now it goes from that, and now you see two guys formerly work together, and now it's one-on-one. Okay. Now, Sean McVay's been there before, and Sean McVay does not want to lose another Super Bowl, especially the way he lost it last time.
Right.
Zach Taylor, nobody expected his team to make it to the Super Bowl, and the Rams came in as a potential favorite to making it and winning it. So it's like I would say, it depends on who's going to outcoach the other, because the key for both of them is not to let the other know what he's thinking. That's going to be tough since they know each other very well. We don't know how that can go.
Youngest coaching matchup, Zach Taylor's 38, Sean McVay's 36. Speaking of Sean McVay, and I'm pretty sure y'all would agree with me, I was on the Sports Arena on Wednesday night, and I was on Snowman in the morning on Thursday morning, and I said, out of anybody, players or coach, the most pressure is on Sean McVay.
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Question.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Zach Taylor's playing with house money.
Right.
Like Bear said, no one expected these guys to be on this stage. So everything is gravy from here for them.
And Sean McVay has all the weapons at his disposal, so he shouldn't lose this game. This should be a game that he wins, and he was here before. This is not the first time he was on this stage. So absolutely the pressure is on Sean McVay.
And one more thing, he's not going against Bill Belichick this time.
Even more so. Like, this is somebody that's under you. That was
exactly
right.
So
first time
you can't lose to that. That's
not. Yeah, you're not in that situation. You're not going against Bill Belichick this time,
especially when the team built for this year, particularly.
For sure. And you would say all of the advantages. You probably would say, if you looked at the three phases of the game, probably, it probably will be a draw on the special teams. But if you look offensively and defensively, you would pick the Rams in terms of having a better, set of weapons or the better set of talent.
Right.
Okay. So let me ask Ken this: how do you think the experience of what happened 4 years ago to Sean McVay will benefit him this go around?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that what to expect, so to speak, in terms of, your responsibilities, your itinerary in terms of how you're going to plan, how you're going to do your practices, your media obligations, when you have to be at these certain places as as a head coach, where as opposed to Zach Taylor, this is going to be his first time in terms of the media obligations, in terms of planning all of the practices, where he only had to, like I said, earlier, focus on one side of the ball. Now he has to focus on all three phases of the ball and making sure everything is organized, everything is planned, everything is strategized, to a T. So that all, gives McVay another advantage in terms of he's been there and done that. So he knows what to do and how to do it for this situation. So they should be better prepared going into this game.
All right. Jonathan, what does Sean McVay have to do this go around that he didn't do 4 years ago?
Well, make sure his team is well prepared and disciplined for this moment. Make sure his team is born in with the right mindset. And, again, it's going to come down to great play calling. You have to make great plays at the right moment. And you have to be able to run the football. Don't get too cute. That's one of the problems that I have with Sean McVay. He likes to get cute. And you can't do that in the Super Bowl. You have to be smart. You have to play smart. You have to come up with the right decisions for your team. Put your team in the best position to win. And I'm confident Sean McVay can do that. Look, like I said, this team is back in the Super Bowl again. I don't think they want to lose a second time around.
I'm pretty sure Ricky is probably saying thank you, Jonathan, right now for saying what you just said. Bearman. But Jonathan did bring up a good point.
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago, Sean McVay looked like he didn't know what hit him. He was lost. He didn't know how to counter Bill Belichick. The shoe's on the other foot now.
Right.
And he's going against a pupil.
Well, what was the biggest problems with the Rams' loss in the Super Bowl 4 years ago is they just could not score any points. I mean, that Patriots defense just shut them down. And the Rams and Patriots both had high-powered offenses, so both defenses kind of shut each other down. But one offense had a breakthrough while the other couldn't.
Right. They couldn't generate enough offense in that game. And of all games, they couldn't put up points when that year was crazy that year because they was putting up 30-plus points per game.
Right. I mean, and the running game, too, especially in the playoffs. I mean, that divisional game against Dallas when C.J. Anderson and Todd Gurley both had over 100 yards running. I expected that in the Super Bowl, and that didn't happen. It's funny you say don't remind me, but I should say that because I'm the Cowboy fan here. But
oh my, we're in the same boat, my friend.
Yeah, but so I expected that to happen, but that didn't happen. I mean, was it Akers or Gurley? I know Anderson 100 yards. Was it Akers or Gurley who was the other running back?
It was Todd Gurley. I think Todd Gurley got a little banged up before the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But still, that running game could have made a difference, but it didn't. And this is how Jonathan brought up, don't get cute. Like, take it seriously.
Yeah.
Even at that point, there was no excuse, losing. I mean, I get he lost to Bill Belichick, okay? But look, if Bill Belichick, as great as he is, okay, if you do your job, you can beat him. He's been beaten before in a Super Bowl, okay? So
there's no margin for error. There's no margin
exactly,
for error.
No margin for error.
You can't make mistakes. You can't give the other team the ball.
You can't, no. So the top priority is score points.
Yep.
But like you said, call the right plays. Don't get cute. Like don't take those chances. Like don't get in over your head, or most importantly, just don't get arrogant for God's sake. Arrogance has a price.
Yeah, and Sean McVay is known for getting too fancy with all the weapons that he has. I mean, it's good to have all those weapons, but while it's a blessing, it can also be a curse.
You have to know how to use them. You can't just go like, look at me, I've got all the weapons in the world, and then you don't know how to use them. I mean, that's Dallas. That's Dallas right there for you.
And what I would like to see from the Rams early on is them to establish the run game, because by establishing the run game, what does that do? That opens things up offensively. Yes. Now you can start running play action plays, which is something that the Rams did well a few seasons back. And that used to be their strength. They were predicated on running those type of plays. So I would like to see more of that in tomorrow's game as well.
See, if you run the ball effectively, you wear out the opposing defense, and most importantly, you can drain the clock.
Exactly.
And if it keeps working, you do it. In a running game, if it works, you keep doing it. You don't abandon it.
And here's a plus. Darrell Henderson is activated for tomorrow's game.
That's why I was going to go. Ken, McVay has all three of his running backs healthy. All three. He loses his tight end, but the backup tight end has filled in Ambury. How important is it for Sean McVay to have the game plan that he used against Tampa and San Francisco?
I think that, it is important that he uses that game plan, but I think as well, because Cincinnati has such a they have weapons on their side as well, they are going to have to take some not risks. So not risk, that's not the right word we're going to use, but they're going to have to make some plays down the field. That's a better term. So they're going to have to make some big plays. Like, you're going to have some, big chunk plays from Cooper Kupp, some chunk plays from OBJ and those type of guys, because the one thing we know about Cincinnati is they're going to score. So you're going to have to, match that and match them in terms of offensively. But I think the difference in this game is that with Cincinnati's offensive line issues, that plays right into your hands in terms of your defensive line. That's the strength of your defense. And the fact that they struggle to protect Joe Burrow, I think that's going to lead to that defensive line having a field day. And that's going to also lead to more opportunities for Los Angeles to have more drives and more opportunities to score. So I think it's one of those things, like kind of similar to the Tennessee game, where Tennessee had a bunch of opportunities to score, but they didn't have the offensive, they didn't have Tannehill was pulling the trigger as opposed to Matthew Stafford. So I think the difference is they're going to get LA is going to have a lot more opportunities to score, and I think because of the weapons that they have and the quarterback that they have, they're going to take more advantage of them than Tennessee did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They have all three running backs, Bearman.
Mm-hmm.
They're going in with a backup tight end because Tyler Higbee is out for this game.
What's the injury?
MCL sprain.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
so how important is Sean McVay to game plan like he did against Tampa Bay and San Francisco? Because he went for the running game. The running game wasn't doing much, but he stuck with it and kept both defenses honest.
Well, in this game, should we expect Cooper Kupp to be heavily marked?
Yeah, I think they're going to try to take. That's probably, I think they're going to definitely bracket him, because that's not really the strength of Cincinnati's defense. That secondary is not a high caliber secondary. So they're going to have to do combo coverages and bracket him and try to make OBJ and the rest of those guys beat you.
See, because when one guy is marked, if the defense is focused on heavily marking one guy, then the other guys are set free. They're out in the open. They're
which is why I think OBJ is going to be the MVP of the Super Bowl by the time
it could very well happen. Yeah,
that's fair, because if you're gonna single him up and you're gonna make OBJ, if you're gonna have somebody beat you, if you're Cincinnati, you want it to be OBJ. You don't want it to be Cooper Kupp. So he's going to get his opportunities to make plays. And then, if he makes those plays, he could definitely, have the opportunity to be the MVP. So that's going to be a great, this is going to be a great stage for OBJ. And I'm really happy for him. And so I'm just looking forward to seeing him produce on this stage.
So let me get this in real quick, because John, he's over here. He's throwing all the stats out, and I am enjoying this. So, Ken, when you hear this, tell me what this means for Zach Taylor. The Rams defense has not allowed 100-yard total offense rushing in the last two playoff games. How much pressure does that put on Zach Taylor?
I think it more so puts pressure on Joe Burrow than Zach Taylor, because they're not able, in these last couple of games, they haven't been able to run the ball against the Rams. That makes you one-dimensional. And making you one-dimensional plays right into the Rams' defensive hands. Because again, then that sets loose that defensive line. You know what I'm saying? And that turns them loose, because they know you got to throw the ball. They don't have to worry about the run. So let's just meet me at the quarterback. And, that defensive line just starts wreaking havoc when you're only one-dimensional. So I think it's going to be huge. It's going to be super important. We talked about the Rams in terms of them running the ball. But it's going to be huge for the Bengals to run the ball and not put themselves in, pass down situations, second and long, third and long, which you have to throw the ball, because that plays right into the Rams' hands.
All right. I appreciate it. But now, Ken, I got to put you on the spot. Who's winning tomorrow?
Oh man, this is you know, I picked the Rams. You know, I picked the Rams on other shows that I do. Shout out to Real Talk. But yeah, I'm not changing. I think that all the advantages are in the Rams' hands. They have all the advantages in terms of offensive and defense. Again, I think they're going to have plenty of opportunities to score. You know, I think the defense is going to get off the field and put the ball back in the offense's hands. And I just think that this is going to be one of those things to where while Cincinnati they will score some points, I just don't think that they'll be able to score enough points to win this game. So I got this as either a 34-24 or 30-20 Rams winning. I got them winning by 2 scores. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means because we see Joe Burrow, he's going to empty his clip and he's not going to stop attacking. So I think that it's not going to be a blowout, but it's going to be, you know, a 2-score game. So I got it either 34-24 or 30-20 Rams winning.
All right. That is my brother, Ken Moore. Catch him in Key Radios. Very good. He does music. He also talks his sports. He's a coach. He knows it. So
yes, sir. And
appreciate it, my brother.
No problem. Also, check us out on Real Talk Monday and Thursday nights at 9 o'clock on the ASAP Network. Appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for being on, Kenny. Thank you, Coach.
Right, take care, man.
All right, Jonathan. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All right. So y'all heard what was going on with this coaches matchup. A lot of good stuff came out of that.
That's one of my colleagues over at ASAP.
Yeah, I got you. So Sean McVay, I'm gonna say this one last time. You cannot lose this Super Bowl.
No.
If you talking about ending getting out of coaching before you 60 and 50 and all that, you better win the Super Bowl.
If he loses the Super Bowl, this one will hunt him for a very long time.
So
Big time.
I'm just gonna say that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me go to our next topic because it's the star matchup conversation. We're talking Jamar Chase versus Jalen Ramsey. And if I'm talking star matchup, I gotta bring somebody on who, like the Bear Man, likes to start, over in Dallas. So from the Sip Off in 806 Sports, my girl Megan Price. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you guys doing?
Hey, how you doing, Megan? Doing fine.
How are you doing?
Doing awesome. Yeah.
All right, so we all know what the star matchup is: Jamar Chase versus Jalen Ramsey. Everybody wants to see it. Even Jalen Ramsey even called out for the matchup. So
yeah, he did.
Megan, Chase versus Ramsey.
So I'm really feeling like we're going to see something similar to what we saw in the Bucs game. We saw Jalen on top of Mike Evans about 69% of his routes out of 52 routes. I think we're going to see something very similar. We saw Jalen come out and said, he's lobbying. He wants to be on Jamar. But, there's a bigger problem than just Jamar Chase. They have 3 receivers with 800 plus receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns. You got T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Chase. Like there's a problem with that receiver core over there. So while I do believe Joe Burrow is definitely going to lean on Jamar Chase because they have that chemistry, I mean, he has other targets that they're going to have to focus on.
All right. Bearman, you got Jamar Chase. You got Jalen Ramsey. Where you leaning?
Oh, boy. I mean, you got the rookie versus the veteran. It could go either way, but if I'm Jalen Ramsey, I do not want to be underestimating Jamar Chase.
Of course not. You don't want to
receiver.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to underestimate him. I think he's going to focus probably solely on him. Like he's going to probably focus at least 65% of his coverage on Jamar, probably.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
But,
for sure.
In football perspective, even as a journalist perspective, I mean, this is a matchup that, this is what we want to see. I mean, this is something we see in our career that we could talk about it in our career moments with family members. I saw this moment. I saw this rookie go against this veteran. It was one heck of a match. I mean, it's one for the ages. But the way I see it, anything can happen. Jamar Chase could get the better of him. Jalen Ramsey could get the better of it. We just wait and see.
Jonathan, here's my question for you, sir. You ready for this one?
Sure.
Does Raheem Morris grant his wish, or does he stick what he been doing and having Jalen Ramsey be that star player who will line up anywhere just to get the advantage for the defense.
Well, we all know what Jalen Ramsey is capable of doing, right? And what is that? Taking away half of the field, right? Mm-hmm. He has that ability. You know, a lot of people see him as a shutdown corner. But I think his assignment will be tough this week. I think he will, cover Jamar Chase most of the time. The thing that concerns me is him getting beat, because we've seen Jalen Ramsey get beat time and time again. Now, that's not me taking anything away from Jalen Ramsey because I know how good of a player he is. But he's going to have to be up on his game tomorrow. I mean, Jamar Chase is a bad brother, man. This guy is an amazing wide receiver. He's a one of a kind. It's amazing what this man can do on the football field. So Jalen Ramsey has his work cut out for him, and he has his hands full with a guy like Jamar Chase. But I do think if they need help on the other side of the field, because you do have T. Higgins and you do have Tyler Boyd. And I think if they do need help on the other side of the field, Jalen Ramsey will make his way to the other side of the field and try to help as much as he can.
Okay. Megan.
Yes.
We saw Jalen Ramsey go up against Justin Jefferson early in the season.
Right.
Didn't go so well for Jalen Ramsey because Justin Jefferson had his way.
Indeed.
The reason why I bring up Justin Jefferson, not only because they both went to LSU, they're the same type of receivers. And with the difference is Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a big receiver. Mike Evans like to get physical. That's Jalen's type of receiver. Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, you have to put your hands on them first if you can.
Indeed. I think that's going to be, the difference maker right there. But I think where we're going to see Jalen be able to make some big plays is, we've heard Joey B say plenty of times that, he just hurls it down there in Jamar's direction and expects Jamar to get there. And he does a lot of times. I mean, obviously he had over 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns. Obviously we see him get there, but he's going to have to take some chances in because of that chemistry that they have. Like he trusts him enough. So he's going to throw it down there. And that's when we're going to be able to see Jalen make some big plays. I anticipate Jalen getting a pick this game.
No. Jalen getting a pick. That would make up for him dropping one against San Francisco.
Right? And if he gets a pick 6, I think we're going to see him in the MVP combo.
I like what I hear right there. And Bearman, Jamar Chase had a phenomenal season in the AFC North. He never went against a cornerback like Jalen Ramsey, though, on his way to the Super Bowl. There's no cornerback like Jalen Ramsey over in the AFC. What kind of problems could you see Jamar Chase having against Jalen Ramsey?
Anything. I mean, the speed, the catching, everything. I mean, for Jamar Chase, if you want to silence Jalen Ramsey, you got to shut him up. That goes for anybody. You want him to shut up, you got to do it yourself.
And if there's one receiver that could do that, I think it's Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
He is super talented, but I think this is where experience comes into play. And why I say I feel like Jalen might be able to get a pick is because, as we all know, Jalen is trash talker and Jamar is a rookie. You're going to have to deal with somebody that knows exactly who he is in this situation. He's been in a Super Bowl before. Like, this is that moment. Like, Jalen's ready, and I think he's going to back it up.
Correction. Jalen has never been to the Super Bowl. This is his first appearance in the Super Bowl.
Oh, excuse me. First Super Bowl.
When we went to the Super Bowl 4 years ago, we had Akeem Talib and
the Jaguars. Yeah, my bad.
They should have went to the Super Bowl that year.
But those are all great points, though.
Those are great points. And I think Jalen Ramsey gonna have to come through. When you open your mouth, you have to back it up, Jalen. I believe he can back it up, but he opened his mouth, so I called him out.
Like you said, you want to shut him up? It's up to you.
He wouldn't beat him if he didn't open his mouth.
Yeah, but what I like about Ramsey too is that he also respects his opponent. So I will give him that.
Yeah.
So that's
our start. Except for when he called Matt Ryan overrated.
Yeah.
I mean, he did blow a 20-3 lead in Super Bowl. I'm just gonna say that.
I mean, it was hilarious to me. I loved it.
I always call the quarterback of my team overrated, so I can't really.
That's our quarterback too. You know that, right?
I don't know about overrated. Maybe overpaid.
Now he'll agree with you on that one.
Yeah, he's definitely overpaid, but I'm just I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan of his, but just wait and see, and we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna get one more segment in with Megan. Is that all right with you?
All right.
Because we talked about the start matchup, but let's talk about receiving core. All right. And this was our poll question number 2, but I'm gonna get to results a little later. But let's talk about this. You have Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, as y'all mentioned about for the Bengals. On the other side, you got Cooper Kupp, you have OBJ, and you have Vance Jefferson. My question is, which receiving core would you want on your team starting off with, Megan?
I'm going to go with the Rams receiving core, and it's just going to go back to what I was talking about with Jalen also, is that experience that you get with that right there. Cooper Kupp is coming off of best receiver of the year. You got OBJ, who's made an impact in the few games that he's been there. I just think that experience is going to come in and be vital, and they're going to end up winning because of them.
Bearman, which receiving core would you want on your team?
I have to go with the Rams. Big time.
Okay. Okay.
I guess you want to know why, right?
Yeah, I would like to know.
Well, as far from the talent, but Cooper Kupp. I mean, the numbers you can't ignore it. Really, you can't. So
that's what I'm saying.
Without Robert Woods, I mean, if Robert Woods was healthy, I mean, either way, in my opinion, wouldn't change. But the Rams got reinforcements, so they're fine.
All right, so Jonathan, I already know where you're going at, so I don't even need to ask you this.
Yeah, but Maker, you already know where I'm going.
I already know where you're going at. That's why I'm changing the question up. Okay, that's why I'm changing the question up. That's why I'm changing the question up with you. I already know where you're going. But let's talk about the receiving core of the Bengals, though, because you're talking about Jamar Chase, outstanding season. T. Higgins, outstanding year. And people kind of forget about Tyler Boyd, but Tyler Boyd is another big receiver along with T. Higgins. What does that trio bring against the secondary of the Rams?
Man, they bring grit, toughness. They bring brilliance. That's what they bring. I think 2 of their receivers get overlooked. They have a great receiver corps, but I think 2 of them get overlooked, and it's Tyler Boyd and it's T. Higgins. The reason those 2 get ignored and overlooked is because of what Jamar Chase has done. Jamar Chase has had an otherworldly year. He's been amazing, and he's the one that stands out in that receiving corps. So a lot of the other 2 guys, they don't get the same credit that they deserve. And a lot of the pressure is not on their shoulders like it is with Jamar Chase. But I do like this receiving corps. I think it's an amazing one. I think all 3 of them are wonderful receivers. They can make plays. They definitely play hard for Joe Burrow. They go to work for Joe Burrow. And that's why they're here in the Super Bowl, because of what they've been able to do all season. And now it's time to put some respect on their names and realize how good and dynamic they truly are.
Right. Megan, you chose the Rams receiving core, and most people look at Cooper Kupp, OBJ. But people forgot about Vance Jefferson.
Right.
How of a difference maker can Vance Jefferson be in this game?
Well, definitely, because they're going to be the Bengals defense is going to be focusing on Kupp and probably OBJ. So that, definitely has the possibility for Jefferson to make some big plays right there and just be able to split those safeties like that.
So, Jonathan, Vance Jefferson, he's the deep threat, really, if you actually think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vance Jefferson is the deep threat. I think a lot of people are not paying close attention to what he can do, too, because what if he's that player who comes out of nowhere in tomorrow's game, and what if he's the one who was named the MVP after the game. I mean, you never know. He could be that.
It can happen, yeah.
Yeah, he could be that big playmaker for them. And everyone is sitting here talking about what Cooper Kupp's going to do because he had a record-breaking year.
Right.
And talking about Odell Beckham Jr. because of his acrobats and his one-handed catches and things of that nature. So everyone is keyed in on what Beckham and Cooper Kupp can do, but they're not really paying attention to Van Jefferson, who's a good receiver in his own right. So I think he's going to be critical for them as well. Because I think the Bengals secondary, even though it's not that great of a secondary, they're going to try to take away guys like Beckham and Cooper Kupp. And, that's going to give Van Jefferson more opportunities.
All right. Now, I'm going to throw some tight ends in here because you have CJ Houpenstall playing for the he's going to go, even though he had that same injury as Tyler Higbee had. That's keeping Tyler Higbee out for this game. But Kendall Blanton filled in again. He did some things against Tampa Bay. He filled in when Tyler Higbee got hurt against the 49ers. Jonathan, can Kendall Blanton continue the road that he's been on?
Yeah, it's always the next man up. And when your opportunity comes, you got to take advantage of it. He was poised in the moment. He saw his opportunity, and he ran with it. And he plays exceptionally well. And I think that could continue tomorrow. Because what that did, it gave him confidence in a big game. I mean, the championship game is not as massive or big as the Super Bowl, but it's big enough to give you some confidence going into the next game. So I think he'll be ready for the moment. I think he'll play well, and if the ball comes in his direction, hopefully he'll catch it and make those plays.
All right, Megan. The Bengals, they tight end back. Now we don't know how healthy he's gonna be for this game, but they do get him back. How much does that play a role for the Bengals?
I mean, this is the Super Bowl. Every single player that can play is going to be there. And it doesn't matter really how much damaged goods they are at that moment. That's when heart plays a factor right there. You're going to play through that injury. We've seen players just go hard through injury. And I anticipate he's probably going to give it all he has. So we're not going to be able to tell how injured he is in this game if he's still injured.
All right. So now we got that out the way. All three of y'all picked the Rams receiving core, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our second poll question was which receiving core do the people want? And this one we had 205 votes come in on this one. What do you think they would? Because last time y'all thought they was going with free agency and Jonathan chose free agency.
It wasn't even close.
And it wasn't even close. So do y'all think social media agree with y'all, or did they go to the Bengals route?
Like I say, expect the unexpected.
Let's take a look at the results.
Oh.
Close.
That is close as I think as I think tomorrow's game is gonna be.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
I agree. Because it's not a knock on the Bengals receiving core whatsoever. They're excellent. I just think the Rams got a little more experience under their belt.
That's the key right there, Megan. It's the experience.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
So that tells you people ain't sleeping on the Bengals wide receiver core.
No, they're good.
No.
So that is that, and when I tied these results, I was like, pretty close.
This Bengals team is good altogether. They just need a stronger offensive line, someone that can protect Joe Burrow, and they need a better secondary.
That's why he got the nickname Joe Cool.
Perfect shape.
That's why he got the nickname Joe Cool. So he get beat up that much time and don't change his thought process or his demeanor at all.
They got to find a way to protect him. If they don't do that during the draft and free agency, like they absolutely have to do whatever they can to protect him. I do think the Rams come out on top, but this is an excellent Bengals team, and they have to do something about that offensive line. It's atrocious.
Exactly.
That brings me to this. All right, Megan, you already gave your prediction. Why are you picking the Rams?
I said this before, and in different areas, not only in the matchup with Jalen and the receivers, but I also think QB experience. I'm going to go with the Rams because they have more experience. I do think it's going to be a really close game. And I feel like that defense for the Rams is going to be a difference maker as well. The Bengals are good, their defense, but they're not on that same level as we were talking about with the Rams. Like, we're talking about probably the best defense in the league. And we've seen defense win Super Bowls before. And I don't know if this is necessarily going to be that, but I think they're just going to be able to contain Joey B. Do I think they're going to be able to stop that offense? No, not all the way, but it's going to be close. I'm thinking 24-17 Rams on top.
24-17. Nice game. Yeah, I think that's the lowest scoring prediction that we got so far in this.
I believe so, yeah.
I think people was up in the 30s and in hot 20s.
I think that Rams defense is going to be able to contain the Bengals offense. I know they're high powered and they got a lot going for them, but man, that Rams defense, we all know what they have.
Who wins MVP?
I hope it's Cup.
She's going Cup. She's going Cooper Cup. So, hey, that is Megan Price, 806 Sports, the sip off. She covers all of it, basketball, football, you name it. She is on it.
Following 806 Sports on Twitter now.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
So, thank you, Megan.
I'd like to send out my support as well.
Hey, and if you want my personal page, it's Queen of Hoop on Twitter.
Queen of what?
Queen of
Hoop.
Okay, I'm doing that right now.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Keep doing your thing. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you.
All right. So far, it's been all Rams. I mean, are y'all surprised? We had 4 guesses on so far, and all of them picked the Rams.
Megan brought up the element that I don't think any of us. I don't know if we mentioned it or if we did. We didn't give it enough credit, but it's the experience.
Right.
Okay.
There's always one element that we.
It's also the names too, guys.
The name, because you mentioned Van Jefferson. You see,
you
absolutely.
You got Odell Beckham on your roster, and then you got Cooper Kupp, and you got to realize what he did during the regular season, which was very unprecedented and unheard of for a wide receiver.
So you know what? Let's stick right there. Let's stick right there for a minute.
It makes a lot of sense.
While we wait for our next guest to come on. Jonathan, talk to us and talk to the people about the impact OBJ has had since he came to the Rams.
Oh, man.
Because everybody thought he was the problem in Cleveland.
I honestly did too. I was one of those guys that didn't want him to come on board. I had my doubts about him. And then he proved me wrong. And I wrote an article this week. You guys should check it out. I wrote an article about Odell Beckham, and it glowed. It glowed. It was nothing but positive things about him.
It was a masterpiece too. I should tell you that. I read it. Good job, bro.
Thank you. And you know what? The man is doing his thing since he came to the Rams. I think he needed a change of scenery. I think he needed to find a new home, and he found it in Los Angeles. And now I heard today, according to reports, that he says he's willing to take a pay cut and less pay to stay here with the Rams next season. He seems to like it in LA. He fits in very well with this crowded receiving corps, and he has done his thing. He's been very productive since he got over here. In 3 playoff games, he's put up the numbers. He's been targeted quite a few times from Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford has delivered, and Odell Beckham Jr. has finished. And I guess you could say he was the finished product because he came on, and he has been the difference maker for this offense. It kind of takes some of that heavy burden off of the shoulders of Cooper Kupp, and it also added another reinforcement after you lost Robert Woods, which was very deflating when they lost him at the time. But then you have Odell Beckham, who came in, and he's been sensational. Now, I'm not going to say he looks like his old self because he is older now. But I mean, this man is still successful in running his routes. You know, he still has gifted hands, and he has the footwork to make plays. You know, he definitely can stretch the field with his playmaking abilities, and that's what we've seen from Odell Beckham Jr. But he has definitely played exceptionally well since he joined the Rams on a 1-year deal, and now the Rams are happy to have him, and they look to renegotiate at the table and make him a new offer, and I think it's well deserving. And I think he has matured since he's gotten over here as well. You don't see the antics from him anymore. You don't see a guy who's unhappy anymore. You see a guy that just wants to win. And he knows that this is his opportunity to do just that. And, you know, he's making the best of the moment. And he has stepped up in a big way for this Rams team. And he has been a huge difference, now that he's wearing a Rams uniform.
I think, by the way I see it, he got what he wanted, and now he's giving the Rams what they want. Now that he's happy, they gave him an opportunity, and he's grateful. And he probably told himself, "Look, I got what I wanted. Now I need to grow up a bit. Yeah. So OBJ. I mean, the whole thing in Cleveland, whatever happened, you know what? Since I don't know very much about it, I'm not even going to bother because I'm not going to throw stuff out there, throw inaccurate stuff out there. It's in the past anyway. We should get over it. But if Beckham himself has moved on and now he's acting better, then you know what? We should too.
Right. So, Bearman, you brought this up because you wanted to talk about OBJ. What made you want to talk about OBJ when it came to the Super Bowl show?
Because we all thought that OBJ's career was finished. A lot of people on Twitter and all on media, wherever, they were saying that he was washed up, that he had nothing left.
Right.
I didn't think that as a talent that he was finished. I thought that because of how he is, I mean, he was quite a rebel. I mean, he will stand up for himself. I mean, if he knows that business is not being conducted well on the team, he will speak his mind. He doesn't care. That we have to applaud because you got to take that. You got to take that chance. You got to show that you're all about business. But the bottom line is, if many people were convinced that his career was finished, but what we've seen so far is there is hope. And now that he's willing to take a pay cut, he's willing to take less money to stay with the Rams. Well, I think he's now proving he is a team player. He's not selfish. He wants to be with the Rams. He's happy there. He wants to be there.
Right.
All right. So we go from OBJ because I want to get in another person. Bearman, starting with you because this was different when you brought this up.
Starting with me. All right.
You want to talk about Cam Akers and how he made his way back from what usually is a season-ending injury. That
sometimes it's career-ending, but it's definitely career-altering.
In July. And he made it back for the playoff run.
He made it back.
Cam Akers.
What was it? A torn Achilles tendon?
Torn Achilles.
Oh, torn Achilles. Okay. Well, it's probably the same thing. We just say torn Achilles. But yeah, the bottom line is it's a gruesome injury. A wrestler that we know very well suffered that in 2009, and we thought his career was finished, but he came back.
So what makes you want to talk about Cam Akers? Because Cam Akers has been a part of this playoff run.
Well, he suffers that injury, and we thought his season was over. But let's keep on again. These injuries are career-altering because, we suffer an injury like that, you're not the same. But any major injury, you're not the same. He comes back and picks up where he left off. Like, it's almost like he didn't miss a step. He comes back strong, and he makes an impact in the playoffs. Well, that's telling you something. He worked. He didn't just heal from his injury and say, okay, I'll just wait till next year. No, he immediately got back to work. You can tell he wanted to get back on that field as soon as he could. And I'm sure as soon as he was told that there was the slight possibility, he took it as if there was that possibility. He was refusing to be in a world of what ifs. Right. So, got nothing but praise for the guy. I mean, either way, even if you are convinced you're not going to play this season, get to work immediately. Come back stronger than ever. I mean, there's never any time to waste. So, yeah, Cam Akers took that. I mean, that strong, significant symbol of that, it's right there in our face.
I think he rehabbed and never stopped working.
Never stopped working.
Even though he was healing from what was a gruesome injury, and you see he has come back strong, and he's been very impressive, even though he struggled with ball security issues. But overall, he's been pretty special to watch and has gotten back.
Talk about the importance of having him back at this time, because at the time he came back, Darrell Henderson was hurt.
Yeah,
we only had Sony Michel.
Yeah, I think you run the ball through Sonny Michel and Darnell Henderson. Those are my two guys.
So that was the thought process going into the season. We didn't expect Cam Akers to come back the way he did.
Right.
Now that he's come back and now that he's played in the playoff games, what does that do for the Rams? Because now you have Darrell Henderson back. You still got a healthy Sonny Michel. And you have obviously a healthy Cam Akers.
That gives you a three-headed monster, right?
It gives you a three-headed monster.
It gives you a three-headed monster. And now you could get more creative on offense. That doesn't mean you get cute, but you can get more creative. And you could give one guy a breather and the next guy can come on and give you a chunk of yards, because all three of these running backs are good.
Cycle.
And yeah, they're gonna produce for you if you put them in the game and you insert them into the offense. You just got to figure out ways. Sean McVay has his work cut out for him, because now he has to figure out ways how to incorporate all three in the offense.
How do you incorporate all three in the offense?
Let them take turns on different series and plays. That's the only way you can incorporate them on offense.
Keep a rhythm alive, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta change it up and bring in Henderson on one snap, maybe bring in Cam Akers on the next, and then you go on from there. I think Sonny Michel is more utilized in the red zone. I think you use him more in the red zone.
Yes,
he has the ability to be that guy in the red zone, and he definitely can pile his way into the end zone and find his way to run between the tackles. That's something he does very well. So you utilize him more in the red zone because he's more effective that way. Darrell Henderson, you could let him, you could utilize him on specific plays, particularly if you need a chunk of yards. I think he's that explosive. I think he's dangerous in open field. He definitely can run between the tackles too. He could be lightning quick. He has great vision, knows how to find a hole, and once he does, he's gonna utilize his speed to make things happen. And then for Cam Akers, he's a guy that can run the football well too. He's particularly effective on the outside. He likes to run the edges a lot, and that's where he is good, and that's the strength of his game. So all three of these running backs are unique in a way, and they can hurt you in so many ways. So I think that's something that Sean McVay is going to have to figure out, how he's going to utilize these guys, when to utilize these guys, and when it's the appropriate time to let them come in for a snap. On a snap. Right. If that all makes sense.
Yeah,
all right,
totally.
So, Bearman, Sonny Michel, he's been there since the beginning of the season. He can't make his way down. He came back for the playoff run. Darren has been in and out of the backfield. Who are you starting with?
Well, that's a good question. I would probably go with a guy who's been there since the beginning.
You can go with Sonny Michel.
Yeah, I would keep it like a cycle, like we used to learn in school about the weather cycle in science class. How it's a cycle that repeats. It literally is a circle of a cycle. You keep it like that. Start with this guy. You get to a certain part of the field, bring in the next, and then you kind of keep it in rhythm.
Right.
Like keep a camaraderie brotherhood of these guys that know what they're doing. They trust each other. You know what? Let's keep the vibe positive.
Okay.
I mean, the last thing the Rams need is a player being frustrated, and we don't need chaos, going on the freaking sideline.
All right. So my next guest is in, and I am so happy and thankful to have this man on. Sports Arena, Sideline Sports, Eric Wilson. I'm grateful to have you on, sir. The fact that you and Alex decided to create a show called the Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel, and y'all decided to have me on. I am thankful. So it's an honor for me to bring you on ArchRivals Football.
I appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Lone Star Bear, pleasure to meet you. Jonathan,
Nice
same
meeting you.
thing. Love your listen, man. I love your little setup right there. My brother up in Cleveland would be very jealous of your sneaker collection. So
Thank you.
that's real.
Neatly set up. I mean, you take good care of it. You take it seriously, and that's the way it should be.
Exactly.
Thank you, fellas.
All right, so it's a big game. It's the biggest game of all. And one of the things that most people always look at, we need an X factor.
Okay.
Who's going to be that difference maker when it comes to the Super Bowl? So, Eric, I want you to give me an X factor for the Bengals and an X factor for the Rams.
Well, considering that they're both at the same position, I'm going to say for the Rams, Tyler Higbee. I think he's going to be your X factor when it comes, because see, everybody is focused on.
Here's the thing with Tyler Higbee.
Sure.
They ruled him out today.
Okay. I did not see the updated.
I was not aware of it until the show. So yeah,
they ruled him out today.
They ruled him out. Well, then let me switch over to the Bengals and say if CJ Uzomah is available,
he's a go.
Okay, so then he's going to be your X factor for the Bengals, because this man, I have to say, is not at 100%. And I know that Zach Taylor is going to find a way to scheme and utilize him. I think he's going to be more of a tight end blocker, but there are going to be moments where Joe Burrow is going to need him in the money down, that third down, maybe that 3rd and 5, or maybe that 3rd and 8. And I think Uzomah has a lot of energy, and I feel he's going to be that guy. Listen, to the Rams, it's very hard to say who the X factor is going to be, unless I'll throw a wild one out there for you. One of the gentlemen on your squad who already has a ring, but right now is backing up Cam Akers, and maybe Sony Michel. Maybe Sony Michel might get a little more play time than we anticipate him getting, and that might be the difference. Because you know what they always say, when it comes to the playoffs, you need two things: a defense and pound the rock.
Okay.
Yep.
He has the tight end for the Bengals, and he has Sonny Michel for the Rams, CJ Uzomah. So, Jonathan, who needs to be the X factor for the Rams?
Man, I'm going to go with the running game, because I feel like when the running game is doing this thing for the Rams, and when the running game is on, then it opens up things for this Rams offense. Again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier, play action. They could run more play action plays by running the football. So I think Sonny Michel is going to have to be that X factor. But can I throw in another X factor too?
Go ahead.
I don't think it's going to be necessarily Cooper Kupp like everyone thinks it's going to be. I think it's going to be Odell Beckham Jr. I keep saying that. I just have a feeling that he's going to be the X factor, because everyone's attention is going to be focused on Cooper Kupp. And that's going to take attention off of Odell Beckham. I think Odell Beckham is going to be that guy.
Okay.
I just
before I get the Bear, man, I want to throw this at Eric.
I really had that feeling.
Well, for Jonathan to say Odell Beckham Jr. because everybody trying to stop Cooper Kupp. If you Zach Taylor, how in your defense coordinator, how do you game plan your defense? Because you know what OBJ can do, and you don't want him to do what he does. But the Triple Crown wide receiver is on that field too.
Yeah, that's very true. And let's not forget, you also have Van Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? And I think some people, because you have a Cooper Kupp and because you have an OBJ, sometimes people sleep on Van Jefferson. And he's a guy who, as the playoffs have gone on, he's been kind of slowly progressing. He's flying under the radar right now. Not a lot of people are talking about him. They're talking about the defense consisting of Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd and Jalen Ramsey and, of course, Von Miller. But no one's speaking of, you talk about the Triple Crown wide receiver. There's a triple threat wide receiver. Pick your poison. So if you are the defensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals, you have to scheme for that. I think we're going to see a lot more of man coverage. I really do. I think, my second cousin, Logan Wilson, who plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, I think he might have to be a spy, because them linebackers coming across when them wide receivers or those tight ends coming across that middle, there's got to be a presence there. There's got to be a body there, and you don't want to be the guy to give up that long play.
Right.
Okay, so Bearman,
Yo,
who needs to be the difference maker? Who needs to be the X factor for the Bengals to win Super Bowl 56?
I say Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Because Joe Burrow is a huge reason why they've made it this far. Again, against Tennessee, it was 9 times he was sacked, right? But he still won the game. And again, the story is that he goes from suffering a torn ACL to, going this far. I mean, nobody expected Cincinnati to make it this far. I mean, for him to win comeback player of the award, that was well deserved. So I have to go with Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow is that guy who's not afraid of pressure. I mean, in fact, like I said on the show, he welcomes it. He's like The Rock. He just says, just bring it.
That is true. That is definitely true.
I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. I'm the kind of sports writer that loves to bring wrestling analogies into my work.
You definitely
Well,
do.
listen, Bear, I'll add one to that. Joe Burrow is like Roddy Piper. Just when you think you have all the answers, he goes and changes the question. That's exactly, man. That's what I'm saying.
Except
I did not think that
if Joe Burrow would ever smash a coconut on an opponent's head. Rest in peace, Roddy.
Oh man, you just made Bearman's day because he loved Roddy Piper. So all right, Eric, I already know who you picking because I was on your show, and I'll get to hear it. But for those who haven't heard it, who you got winning Super Bowl 56?
Man, I said it on my show, shameless plug for the Sports Arena, Monday and Wednesday night, 10 p.m., part of the Sideline Sports Network family. I believe in Joe Burrow. I believe in T. Higgins. I believe in Jamar Chase. However, I think this run of theirs, this underdog Cinderella story, the resurgence of the Cincinnati Bengals, who haven't been relevant in almost 3 decades, I think finally comes to an end. Mm-hmm. The Los Angeles Rams built this team for this season. They built this team to win this year. They weren't worried about tomorrow, and they said, the hell with the past. We are focused on the here and now, and I really believe that this game is going to come down to a field goal kicker. I really, truly believe that. So many people are predicting a 10-point score, 14-point score. Rams are going to blow them out. What have we seen this playoffs? It is coming down to the leg of a field goal kicker. So I believe that the Rams are going to win 38-35.
38-35. We have a 3-point game. And like that's about everybody except for Megan. Everybody's up in the 30s.
I mean, that's yeah.
So everybody's looking for an offensive shootout. I think Megan's more on the defensive side.
Well, because we know that. We know what Joe Burrow can do. Listen, we've seen Cooper Kupp do it against Tom Brady and the Bucs in that Bucs defense. 42 seconds, and Matthew Stafford finds Cooper Kupp for the bomb to set up the game-winning field goal. Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City were up by as much as 18 on the Bengals, and yet Joe Burrow, with a horrible offensive line, found a way to get it done.
All right. That's my man.
Yeah.
That's my
like
man,
I said,
Eric
Joe
Wilson.
Burrow welcomes it.
That's my man, Eric Wilson. Sports Arena, Monday and Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I just started following the show on Twitter, Mr. Wilson. I'm following you on Twitter as well.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the love. Jonathan, like I said, man, keep that collection clean, brother, because it looks nice. I really like it, man.
Thanks, my man. I appreciate you.
Hey, Playmaker, all of my love, brother. I look forward to seeing you back on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel for season 3, man. We got a lot of good things in the works, but I'm going to holler at y'all, gentlemen. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for being on, Eric.
Appreciate you.
All right, that was Eric, and I am happy about that one. But fellas, we're gonna go to a round that I don't know much about, and to help me with this one, I'm bringing in Dan Raleigh, my man from Super Draft Pro. What's going on, Dan?
What's happening? How's everyone?
What's going on?
See you, brother.
So Dan, it's the Super Bowl. We know how everybody is. They want to play Dan in fantasy. They want to get their bets in, and
everybody
want to get in on the action. So
there's all kind of pools. There's everything. Everybody wants to get in on Super Bowl. That's the
So
biggest.
the ticket down the bottom that I just switched to, that is our game on Super Draft Pro. So then you want to go ahead and explain to that
That's
to them
correct.
real quick.
Yep. We have we've set up a game for ArchRivals. Set up a special game for all the listeners. Everybody here that wants to play. We put in a little bit of cash for everybody listening. And I'll just tell everybody this, and I know that Ricky Darnell, everybody's been promoting this and getting trying to get everybody in. Guys, this is a fun game. This is not like the other platforms that you've seen out there. I'm not going to name names. You know what they are. This is this is a whole lot of fun. And I'm going to put a little plug in for them before we really get going with this. Is these guys, that they rely on the donation, well, not donations, but the advertisers, to get a little money to keep this show going. And this, you can actually help them keep going, with the shows. Not only are you helping them, you guys can also, win money as win money, cash prizes as you play, and a lot more than what you're going to be giving out to help them. So, as I said, there's a little bit of money, and there's going to be more. The more that come in and grab a subscription. So if you grab a subscription, there'll be more money to give out. So you can win a little bit of money back, like I said here. But not only that, you'll play every day, and be able to win a lot more than what you're giving out. So, and I can attest to that because I usually do. Just because this is not like the other platforms. But anyway, I wanted to throw that out there. The game should be posted. I'm sure you guys posted that game.
I got posted. I got it on the ticker right now. And
but one thing I want to stress to everybody is what they have showed you guys before with getting in, which is the Super Draft, the SuperDraftPro.com, and then what is it, ArchRival Football? Is that what your tag is? Yeah. I mean, you'll have to get into the game first, and then what they're putting on the ticker now, you'll have to get in after. So you'll jump into that game after.
You can go on my link, or you go on Ricky's link. You can do either one, and then click on this link that's on the ticker right here, and you'll be in the game.
Right. After you get into the game, then use this link to get in our special game here.
All right, Dan. So what's the big bets that's going on right now? I know the Rams are a favorite by 4 right now. So how do people viewing that?
By most of the country probably, but I'm sure the Bengals fans think a little different. They probably think they're going to win, which again, this game can go either way. But as far as players, we'll go a little bit on picking for Super Draft here, picking the players. Of course, I know what I'll be doing. I got a couple lineups going in, but I'll be playing it safe. With probably my main one, is the Stafford Burrow, getting both quarterbacks in. I mean, they're always out there pretty much, so you got to go with them. Of course, Cup. Even though, Jonathan, I heard you earlier in the in one of the other segments. I think so too. That they're going to be watching Cup, so Beckham. They'll probably be throwing to him, but I think they'll be watching Beckham too. So I think Van Jefferson may have a big game just because Higbee's not in. But like I said, I'm getting off track here. But Cup, probably Chase. Boyd, I believe is gonna have a big game also. So those are your probably 5, top 5, 6 guys to go with. As far as running or as far as quarterbacks, wide receivers. Of course, you want to throw some of these running backs in there. You like the running backs if you think they're gonna do well. I'm kind of leery this time about running. I think the running backs aren't going to get as many. I would say as many snaps, but I mean I just don't. I think they're going to get stopped a lot more than what what most games would be. So, if you want to get a little sneaky, especially in this game, because in Super Draft Pro, not like the other platforms, we have a multiplier. You could pick anybody. There's no caps. Pick who you want. You can go with
no salary caps.
Like no salary caps with this, so you can get a little sneaky, with this, and you could pick, like I said, if you want to pick all the best players, that's great. I mean, but you get a little sneaky and get some tight ends in there. With Higbee out, Blant may be a good pickup. He's going to be a higher. He's going to be higher on the.
Okay,
yeah.
so what are some prop bets you've been looking at for the Super Bowl?
Well, the prop bets. I mean, I'll probably get into a couple of those, but I'm not a big prop bet. I like the fantasy side of it. But the props. I mean, we can go over some of those. Probably the over under. I don't know if you have any that you're looking at as far as what they have as far as some of the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers.
I know. I think they have one that's saying Joe Burrow throwing for over 300 yards.
What was that?
Throwing for over 300 yards with Joe Burrow.
I think there's going to be a lot of throwing in this. So I think I would go the over with Burrow, even with Stafford. I whatever it is, I'd go over because I think they're going to be throwing a lot. Again, I just think the lines are going to be a little better than the secondary. In these games, I just think there's going to be a lot more thrown in the air here. So I would go over with both. On those.
All right, so they have the over under at 48.5, and with us and ArchRivals, we don't do half, so it'll be 49. Did we get 49? Did we get over 49 total points in this game?
Yeah, that's a good question because my thought is just because people were asking if the game was going to be boring or not. I heard that come out. I have a feeling at least the first quarter, maybe the first quarter and a half, it's going to be I don't say boring, but it's going to be a low scoring game there.
Yeah.
That's my thought. And then it's just going to open up. I think it will open up after, right at the end of the second half, and then the second or third and fourth quarter, I think it will just be all open.
Yeah.
49, I don't know. I'm going to stay under on that one.
Under 49.
Yeah, both teams are going to have to fill each other out first.
Yep.
And I think once they settle in, we'll see more scoring.
Always happens. It always happens.
Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, our game link is in the ticker. My link and Ricky's link for joining the Super Draft is in the show notes. Y'all make sure y'all do that. And tell me, Super Draft is fun. I'm having the ball with
friends, get everybody in. Get everybody you can in. Like I said, the more we get in, the more subscriptions we get, the higher that pool. That's going to be. But right now, we do have a set limit for the for the payout. So you are going to get some money for free. Just for coming in and playing.
Who's gonna say no to free money?
No. Yeah.
All right, Dan. I gotta do everybody else.
Thanks for having me.
Dan, who's winning tomorrow?
I'm thinking LA is going to pull it out, but I have a feeling the Bengals are they're going to, of course, going to make a good game, but they could just squeak by. But I've been picking the Bengals, but I'm going to pick the Rams.
He switched. He switched. He picked the Rams.
I did switch. I'm thinking the Rams will pull this one out.
All right.
Even though the Bengals are going to give them a good run.
All right. Appreciate it, Dan.
Yep.
All right.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right, that's Dan.
Appreciate it, man.
Bro. I'll be working with him more because I will be stripping into basketball season and really diving into that. So that'll be something fun for me. So, all right, Dan, we'll be talking to you.
Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
All right, so every guest picked the Rams.
It's a sweep.
Every guest picked the Rams. I think I had 6 guests on here, and every last one picked the Rams. Should we be nervous, Jonathan? Because all guests picked the Rams.
No, I think the Rams are the more complete team. I think it's more of the trendy pick because of what the Rams have done. As far as building their team to win now. This roster was put together to win now. So I think that's why most people easily went with the Rams. And it makes
sense. One last poll up, guys, and it's the main poll of all polls. All right. So who did social media lean? Did they lean Rams or did they lean Bengals?
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
Look how close that is.
Wow. That's close.
51.2% chose the Rams. 48.8% picked the Bengals.
I'm telling you guys, that's how evenly matched both of these teams are.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, hey, that's pretty much all the time that we got. So, but before we get out of here, Jonathan, why are the Rams going to win Super Bowl 56?
Because I think they're just more complete. They have, more firepower. Their offense is high flying, and it is led by Matthew Stafford, who has, been big for them, and he has come through in big moments this season. We finally found out the real Matthew Stafford. We learned his identity, and he is really a quarterback who has elite stuff. I mean, this guy can flat out play, and then you have the playmakers around him, and then you have the running game, and then Sean McVay has done a good job, and then the front office has done a good job, putting this team together, assembling all of this talent. So I got the Rams winning. I think the Rams win 24-21 on a Matt Gay field goal. I've been saying that all week. I've been appearing on a number of shows, and I said the same thing that I'm saying now. The Rams will win this game 24-21. That is my prediction. I'm sticking with it. I haven't changed up. I think they win on a field goal. I mean, that just seems like the perfect ending to what has been an amazing postseason for the NFL. So I think this game comes down to a field goal, and it comes down to the final seconds of the game.
Bearman, feet to the fire. You must pick a winner for Super Bowl 56.
I got to go with Los Angeles. They got everything they need. There's no excuses. It's on their home turf. They're going to prove that the one thing they can prove is maybe they are that damn good.
All right.
But I'm going with the final score, 37-34. The same concept. It's going to be a game-winning field goal. I feel that's the way to settle it.
Everybody's on the Rams. And I think y'all know who I'm going with. It's not a secret.
I mean, in y'all's case, I just hope that everybody going with the Rams, I just hope it doesn't bite them in the ass.
It's obvious. It's obvious who you're picking, my friend. We already know. It's the Rams.
Rams by 10.
Right.
They have the ball late within 4 minutes. They score. They go up 10. Not leaving enough time for Joe Burrow to make magic happen. I have the Rams by 10. And that's all we got for you. Jonathan, thank you out there in LA holding it down.
Yes, I'm in the suburbs though. I'm not in LA. I was gonna go down there today, and then I decided, you know what? I'm not gonna be in the middle of all that drama down there,
All right, so that's him. Bearman, final thoughts.
It's gonna be a good game, I hope.
You hope.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all heard me say it on Sports Arena. Y'all heard me say it on Snowman. Y'all heard me say it on Ramley Talk. Sean McVay, you got to get it done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is your second time in it. You got to make up for what happened the first time.
No,
so with that being said, for Ricky, who's been producing in the background, for all of my guests, Detroit Don, Tyler Ingram, Phil Jones, Kenneth Moore, Megan Price, Eric Wilson, and Dan Rurley. That is Jonathan. That is the Bearman. I'm the playmaker down there in silence. Enjoy Super Bowl 56. Don't worry. Ricky will be doing more stuff on ArchRivals. I'll be heading over to basketball doing more hoops talk. And Bearman's gonna keep doing what he been doing. Working all 3 podcasts like he been doing. So y'all have fun. We out.
Hey, did you like that show? Like, share, follow, subscribe. Share out our shows to all of your social media. Need merchandise? Check out paintrainpipebomb.threadless.com for quality merchandise at great prices. Tune in next time for another edition of ArchRivals Football, and we'll catch you on the flip side.